would like to give a huge shout out to Gundam Central Shop. This is where I get all of my third party model kits. They have been a huge supporter to the channel. So if you are looking into getting your own third party model kits, I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description.
Hey, what is up everyone, and welcome back to the Animus, and today we're going to be reviewing the SNAA Aegis Knight Achilles. Let's get right to it. So jumping straight into the review, I would like to thank Gundam Central Shop for providing this kit for review to the channel. Now again, I keep saying it in all my videos, but that's never going to change, is that even though I am receiving these kits for review, my opinion is going to always be honest in regards to these kits, mainly because you are the ones looking at these videos to see if these kits would be for you, right? And myself, I've had a lot of experience with kits that, you know, are not all that they're being announced to be, and that's just disappointing altogether considering you're spending your hard-earned cash on it, right? So just keep that in mind. I had someone reach out in regards to the Oberon and say, hey, well, what is your honest opinion? Well, that really was my honest opinion in regards to the kit. If the kit was one of those kits that would not be worth anybody's time, then at that point I would have just said that in a video. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump in straight into this review. So the tools that I used for this to build this kit were just my hobby knife and my nippers. Now the good thing about SNAA is that these beyond exquisite model kits, they build like they are real great kits, and to me it's just astonishing how far they've come in regards to engineering, in regards to their models. And it's very great that they're undergated as well, you know, contrary to other model kits out there. And it's just a great, awesome build experience, and it's pretty quick too. If you grab one of these kits that are 1/44 scale, you end up building it in less than a few hours, and that is just great because you get those immediate results. Aside from that, because the kit is undergated, there's not too much cleanup to do, so if you do have nippers and a hobby knife, that should be enough for you to be able to build this kit. So now for additional parts for this model. Now, I am not saying that these are additional parts that you can swap out with the model itself. I just want to say right now that these are all additional parts for the model. And if you look at the manual, it looks like the frame is shared with either the Gawain or the other model that they have currently out, which I keep forgetting its name. I don't have it, that's why I don't remember it. But I do believe that it does share some parts with both model kits, so you will have a runner that'll have spare parts. Now, with that being said, I do have to tell you guys to be very, very attentive when it comes to building this model, so you don't end up using the wrong parts while you're building it. Up next is going to be the water slide decal sheet. Now, I didn't use it because I am going to paint this kit, and like I said it when I was doing the unboxing, I am planning on painting the Round Table Knights. I'm just waiting to see if SNAA is going to keep releasing these kits so I can just stack them up and then paint them all together. I'm kind of looking, you know, digging like a Knights of the Round Table vibe with these, and I am going to probably paint it in such a pattern, like very medieval style. So I'm really hoping that they keep releasing these kits so I can go ahead and stack up on them, get them all, and just go from there, paint them all into a nice, I don't know, maybe a diorama, or maybe, you know, have like a nice figurama for all of them together there. So really looking forward to that. So I will put these with the water slide decals for the Gawain that I have stored separately, so that way I can go ahead and save them for when the time comes and I'm painting these kits. And now for the actual hands. For the hands themselves, you do have your closed fist, you do have your peace sign like you have in the Gawain, and you also have your open palm hands. You also have an additional set of hands, which is the grasping hands, which are the ones that I currently have on the model itself. Like I said, you know, this is mostly the same as the Gawain and the other models that they have. The only difference is that the model itself is built a little bit different than the Gawain, but we'll go through that whenever we're reviewing the actual kit itself. Aside from that, the hands are just the same as the Gawain. Extreme detail when it comes to these hands. You also did not have any nut marks visible at all when you're building these hands. So when you are painting it, it requires, like I said, it'll just require minimal cleanup. And now for the actual weapons for this kit. So this kit is very minimal when it comes to accessories and weapons that it brings, but it does not disappoint. Now you do have your two blades, your two swords here. They do have a lot of detail when it comes to the blade. However, you know, it does lack a little bit In this area right here where it's all white, like I mentioned before, I am looking into painting this kit, so this is not going to be a problem, but it is a great candidate for color separation or paint as well. The hilt looks great and the handles look great with extreme detail, and you can barely notice the fact that it had any nub marks whatsoever while I was building it. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is going to be the Aegis shields, right? So these things are really cool because they don't only serve as shields that are like, you know, heavy armor or you know, trying to, you know, guard the mobile suit itself, but they also serve as weapons because they do have a weapon system that you can pull out when you are posing the model kit itself. And this thing looks insane when it's propped up for firing, and if you have it, once you combine it with the backpack as well, it just looks great. So you do have a few options when you are posing this kit. You can pose it with a shield like this, where it's just a shield that is just posing where it's activated. You can do it like a deactivated pose, like so here, like that, or you can actually go ahead and pose it with the actual beam rifle. I want to say it's beam rifle or railgun, and then you can either pose it like this with the shields like that, which looks really cool in my opinion. You open it up like this and make it look like that, small little pincer there, or you can just go ahead and set it up like so for a fully activated look. This thing looks really good. This is probably one of my favorites so far. Between the Gawain and this one, I'd say that it's really tough competition between the both of them to see which one is my favorite. Now, one thing I do want to mention about these shields is that even though they do have a peg right here that connects to the backpack, they're a little finicky to get into a pose. So just keep that in mind whenever you are posing this. Be very gentle, be careful, you know, be patient. You know, I always say this in my videos, but always be very careful and gentle when you are posing kits, mainly because I've had concerns brought up about, you know, kits, third-party kits that, you know, usually they break or anything like that. I haven't had any issues with mine, but mainly it's because I'm very gentle with them. So just keep that in mind whenever you are handling kits like these, especially kits that are with the, like this new age plastic, that might be a little soft. Be very careful so that way you can go ahead and get the most out of your kit so it will last you a long time. And now for the main event, which is going to be the Achilles. So look at this thing. This thing just has insane amount of detail. When you are posing this kit, it just commands presence. And I do have one thing that I want to say, because I posed this with a like a simple stand, and this thing just looks great. I'd have to say that between the Gawain and this one, I'd say that the Achilles does have a lot of more surface detail when it comes to armor pieces, but I think that's just my opinion. It just depends on what your preferences are in regards to mobile suits. I just really do think that this gives me that Knights of Magic feel whenever you are posing it. Combined with extreme color separation and panel line for detailing, color separation, which is part separated, because it's not just the actual parts that have color separation, but these are actual separate parts that go into each area. I believe that this is the perfect candidate when it comes to painting, mainly because we have been seeing that SNAA is coming out with these models that you can actually go ahead and take them completely apart and paint them without any masking, considering that most of their parts are already color separated. So all you have to do is color code them whenever you are painting them. Now, jumping straight into the flexibility for the kit itself, you do have a full turn of your head. You do have a front and back motion. Not too much there because you do have a little small ball joint. So if you try to twist it too much, it might fall off, but you do have all that movement there. I do want to go ahead and jump straight into the backpack. Now, I was going to take the backpack off to review it on its own, but it is tough in there. Like I usually I'm worried about heavy backpacks or such, like, you know, falling off the models. This is not going to be a problem with this one. Aside from the fact that it can actually hold all the equipment on there without a stand, this is great for people that are very short on space and they just want to go ahead and give it a standing pose with all the accessories on. They can do that. This kit will definitely hold itself up whenever you are posing it. So you do have joints everywhere in this backpack, and these things are super solid. I have no doubt that this thing will last a long time without sagging, and the tolerances are so there, like you don't have that issue. The only thing that I did want to mention is that when you are posing, please be very mindful for the flaps on the back. They do have these small little ball joints right there. Let me go ahead and see if I can get the camera to focus. So you do have these little ball joints right there that go into the flap for the back for the skirt. Just keep that in mind. Make sure that you're very gentle when posing that part, mainly because it does fall off. Mine fell off, so I just want to make sure that I bring that up whenever you are posing, that these might fall off, but they're, once you have posed it and you leave it alone, you don't have any issues with it falling later on. Now for the torso does have a bend forward. You got a little bit of a crunch there. It does come back as well, just like the Gawain. And I did want to bring that up because I saw somebody asked me about, does it flex back? Yes, it does. And then you can just bring it back into place. For the arm, you do have a complete 360. This part is just in the way there. You do have your shoulder armors that go up and down. You don't have a lot of flexibility there, but you're not going to be really twisting that up there. See, that's what I meant. It just randomly fell off. I barely touched it. Now for the shoulder, you do have some mobility here with the joint, and it does pop out and in for that extra posing or flexibility. You do have that on both sides. For the arm itself, you do have that joint there that you can fully twist the arm. You do have a double jointed elbow when it comes to this model, so you don't have to worry about actual posing going wrong there. One thing that I did want to mention is that the posing for the hands is going to be the same as the Gawain. You don't really have a lot of movement because it is a ball joint. Going down to the waist also does go all the way around in a 360 motion, but since you do have these parts right here, they might fall off, so just a note there. Now for the hip, I did want to bring this up. So these kits in SNAA, they do have this hip motion like the real grades, where you can just go ahead and pull that forward for that extra little flexibility and posing. But you do have to be very careful with these because these tend to break easily. Not saying it's related to these kits, but from experience from like seed kits, for example, if you do try to force them, they will break. So just make sure that you're very careful when you are posing it, if you're going to extend it for that extra additional flexibility, so nothing actually breaks or falls off. Now, as far as the leg goes, you do get a full split with the model kit itself, and there it goes again. I'm just gonna leave it there. You do have a full split for the model in case you're trying to do that. It does have extremely well posability, but it does have the extreme detail when it comes to flexibility in case you're trying to give it that nice action pose or aerial action pose. You do have your leg that goes all the way into 360 right there, and you do have a double jointed knee with additional details, and there goes the other one. So when you are posing, you do get a lot of flexibility when it comes to that with these kits. And luckily the only flaps that do fall off are the back ones. I haven't had anything else fall off yet. As far as the ankles go, does have the same issue as the Gawain. In my opinion, I feel like ball joint ankles are not really that great. I wish they would have had a little bit more. You do have a little bit of a toe bend there with parts that fall off or fly off, like that one over there. And you do have that little twist with the actual toe, so you can get that additional posing when you're doing it, and it does have it in the heel as well. So just in case you were wondering, you do have full range of motion with your foot. The only problem is that you do not have a lot of range of motion when it comes to the ankle. So just keep in mind that if you are trying to force it, it will come off because it is a ball joint. And then going into attaching all the weapons and everything, so it does have pegs and peg holes everywhere. So for the shields, all you have to do is go ahead and attach the shields to these little peg holes right here, and they mount like so. And again, these, even though you do have to be really gentle with these, you can pose them without any issues. I haven't had any issues aside from that, which is the probably third time that falls while I'm recording. And aside from that, you know, I haven't had any really big concerns with the model itself. For the swords, you can actually mount them on the backpack right here, which gives you that nice mounted look for the blade itself. And you know, it does, like I mentioned before, this kit does carry its weight very well when you are posing it, so you don't have to worry about your parts falling once it's posed. You don't have to worry about the kit sagging once it's posed. It's just overall satisfaction with these kits, and this thing just looks great. It just looks very presentable when you're posing it next to, especially next to the Gawain that has a lot of effect parts. It still holds its own because it's a nice display piece. And that is it for today's video. I hope you like this review. You know, if you like my content, please go ahead and like and subscribe. I'm very active in the comments, as some of you have already noticed. So if you do have this kit or are planning on getting this kit or have any questions about this kit, go ahead and drop them off in the comments. As I'm very active, I'll go ahead and reply myself. So thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I will see you all next time.